Do you want to know the law that changes expats' life in the UAE forever and ever? 2 seconds and we jump into the information. Hello everyone, my name is Maria Rubert, lawyer and arbitrator with a base in the UAE for the past 15 years. I'm very happy to be here today to be talking about all of this news that a single law, the new Personal Status Law, officially known as Federal Law 41 of 2022, have brought into our lives. Yes, this Federal Law 41 of 2022, even though it's dated 2022, it came into effect this February 2023, and the changes that introduces are massive because it touches on a number of legislation. To name a few, the criminal code, the civil code and the civil procedural code. Also we have affects the federal public health law. It affects, of course, the personal status law, the old one now from 2005, but also the judiciary, affects the notary law and even the Supreme Court. This is the law, the name, when it comes into place, and the broadness. Yes, I'm gonna be telling you more about the broadness. Before we jump into 5 huge changes, I would like to touch on one issue. To whom? To whom does it apply? Well, it applies to non-Muslim, whether they are citizens of the UAE or expats. I will be concentrating on expats, as I know they are mostly the ones that follow me. If there are any citizens following me, please send me a line. It will make me very, very happy. So very good. So applies to non-Muslim citizens or expats, with one condition when we speak about expats and their divorces. This law will apply unless the marriage, either one, insists on the application of their personal law. What is the personal law? The law of the marriage. So they could ask during the divorce that the divorce is decided based on the law of the place where they got married. So if this is Spain, if this is France, if this is Portugal, you will need to prove the law. This will be your obligation. So how do you prove the law? You will need to get an official piece of legislation attested, which implies that the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, then the Embassy of the UAE, then you ship it to the UAE, and the legalization needs to be completed at the MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the UAE. Then after this or before this, you have to translate it into Arabic, because judges in the UAE will apply the only official language in the UAE, even though everyone speaks English and the day-to-day language is English, officially is Arabic. So we have seen the law, Federal Law 41 2022, that came into place in February 2023, that the changes that introduces are very broad. We've seen to whom it applies, non-Muslims, be them citizens or expats. Now we are going to see 5 major areas of implementation, yes? So the first one, equality. Federal Law 41 2022 brings equality between men and women, yes? Equality is very big. It's a very big thing, yeah? What are we talking about when Federal Law 41 2022 talks about equality? It talks about equality of men and women at the moment of giving testimony. It talks about equality of men and women at the time of inheriting, yes? When we will be talking about wills and inheritance. So now there will be equality. We also talk, Federal Law 41 2022 talks about equality when seeking divorce. Men and women will have the same right to seek divorce. And also, lastly and very important, the law also addresses the joint custody. Equality, so this is the equality of moms and dads, or mothers and fathers, to spend the same amount of time with their kids. We will be talking about this. Okay, this is number 1, equality. Number 2, civil marriage. Now, expats in the UAE will be able to go to a judge who will conduct their marriage, and also at this time, couples will be able to agree on the conditions of the marriage and also on post-marriage rights of the parties. So you will be able to agree, if we get divorced, we won't join custody. If we get divorced, I will get this from you, or I will get that, or we will share what we have earned during the marriage. You name it. You can become very creative at the time of drafting your prenups, as we call them. Yes, but these ones I am a little bit doubting to call them prenups, because yes, you agree them before your prenup, but you registered at the time of getting married. Yes, so you know, this is the possibility, because until now we had a lot of gray areas. We had loads of expats having to undergo divorces under Sharia law, and this brought a lot of uncertainty to them. I think this is a great initiative. You could also do it now, but now the law incorporates it, and the fact that when you go to get married, you will be reminded of your possibility. This is great. This is great, because things, the more transparent, the better for everyone, and the more you have discussed it, the better, because there are always surprises at the time of divorces. So very good. We've talked about equality, we've talked about civil marriage. Now we are going to talk about alimony. Now wives will be able to request compensation from their husbands. Until now, wives and mothers were able to get compensation, but not direct compensation. Of course, they were having their housing paid for, they were getting money for food and to spend on the kids, but they were getting these funds, because they were moms. Right now, the new law anticipates compensation for divorced women. If there is an agreement, the judges will respect the agreement between the spouses. If there is no agreement, the judge will have full freedom to and power to decide on this amount. What is the judge going to be looking at? The judge will be looking at how long they were married, how many years they were married, the age of the wife, how difficult or easy it will be for her to find a job if she doesn't have a job. Also, we'll be looking at the financials. Maybe she doesn't work, but she doesn't need to work, yeah, because she's wealthy. So they will be looking at this as well. They will be also be looking at whether or not the husband contributed to the divorce. Is there cheating? Is the husband just taking this unilateral decision, even though he has the right to do it? But if there are damages to his spouse, the judge is going to be looking at all these factors. Also, the judge will look at the diligence of the mother looking after the kids. If the wife was only looking after the kids, you could assume that this would be positive for the wives. Also, the level of education of the wife. She never worked because they were a couple and they agreed, I pay for things, you take care of our kids. But she could actually work. This was a decision by the couple. So all of these factors will be looked at. Specifically, we are waiting for the executive regulations, the regulations of the law. The law usually throws the big bomb, and now we will usually laws get regulations to expand on specific details. This is one aspect that needs clarification. How is this compensation going to be quantified? So actually the law mentions this specifically in this part when it talks about the alimony. So we are truly waiting for the executive regulations so we can report to all of you. Yes, very good. So we've talked about equality, civil marriage, alimony. Now we have 2 points left: joint custody and the wills and inheritance. Joint custody. The rule now, the default rule will be joint custody. Yes, unless the parties agree otherwise. Maybe one of the spouses travels a lot, or one of the spouses has X, or maybe one of the spouses requests the court that the other spouse is not fit to care for their kids. So of course this brings us in a very nasty and difficult ball game, But it's possible if there is some psychological or physical condition that will not make this father or mother a suitable caretaker. And last, we have to talk about wills and inheritance. Until now, depending on on your assets, you were entitled to apply your law or what you decided or not. For example, real estate. Real estate, you had to go to the IFC to do a will because otherwise it would apply even if you went to UAE notaries at the time of the passing. Our experience was that they would still apply Sharia law because there is a difference between movable assets and immovable assets. Right now, the new law 41/2022 introduces full testamentary freedom and also introduces what will happen to non-Muslim if they don't give their final will. So if they didn't get to register their will, there will be a register, by the way, of wills to bring order and clarity for the worst unfortunate time in life, the passing. If there is no will, half will go for the wife or the husband, the other half for the kids. Kids, doesn't matter if they are boys or girls, or they are men or women. If there are no kids or there is no husband, it will go to the parents in equal proportions. If one of the parents has passed, then the share of that father or mother will go to the siblings of the deceased. Yes, and if there are no parents, no mom, no dad of the deceased, then it will go in equal proportions to the siblings of the deceased, whether they are brothers or sisters, equal proportions, equality. Remember, we've seen equality, we've seen the civil marriage, we've seen the alimony, we've seen joint custody, and we've seen the wills and inheritance. I hope this is of assistance to understand your rights, to understand the legal system where you live or you will want to live. We are looking forward to the executive regulations to expand on this information. So stay tuned. If you have learned a little bit, if you have liked the video, please like it. Please do subscribe to my channel and to my social media in order to get to the information as soon as it is out. For any general questions concerning life in the UAE, please share with me. Important that is general information so that everyone can benefit. Thank you very much.